right, so AJ, you brought us a Firebird.
Yes, my 68, which this is my first baby. I love my R8, but this is my first love. It was great because I got to actually help build her. You know, I was a big part of the design. I knew exactly what I wanted. Customize the color.
I love this color.
Yeah,
the reason this color is awesome is because it's midnight blue. It's got some purple or something.
Yeah, it's actually midnight blue pearl is the design. I mean, I drove the guys at BASF crazy because I knew in my mind it needs to look like a sapphire. That was my vision.
When you see it right here, it just looks like a sort of a midnight blue or blue note as they say in the Italian parlance. But when you look toward the back of the car, it all of a sudden starts turning purple.
And at night it looks black. I mean, I love it in the folds of the car. It's just, you see that sapphire pop. Because I want it to be a rolling gem. That was my vision for this.
Now, you've had this car for a few years. You guys built this on Hot Rod TV.
Yes.
And
over at year one.
Okay.
Built it in a year, 2008. I took it on the power tour. So I got,
this looks like a power tour.
Yes.
It is a power tour car.
Amazing. That was probably one of the most fun I've had.
So it looks like Bear did the brakes.
Bear brakes, intro wheels.
Wow, there's a lot of dish floating outside that rear rim, which looks like a good
295
or 11
a 295 35 18.
Wow, and
but the
man, you're able to shoehorn the whole thing under there because the fenders look completely stock.
I mean, I wanted to keep it pretty stock because for me, I hate seeing a classic car with a lot of modern elements.
Right.
It's just not, you don't do that to a classic car. I mean, it drives new because I've put in new engine, new transmission, subframe's new.
Yeah.
So.
And whose suspension are you using? Is it Detroit?
It's Detroit.
Detroit Speed and Engineering?
Yeah.
Should we pop the hood and take a look at? I don't know what these.
Can I pop this for you?
Please.
What did these Pontiacs come with? A 383 or 3?
Yeah, it was
something like that.
I got a little
these
slap.
Things came with, Matt?
That's a good question. 350s, 383.
No, I don't think they were.
And then they came with lots of. Well, this one looks like an LS3.
It's an LS3 with a Bowler transmission.
And you got some crap from the purists for putting the vet engine in
I
here?
did. It's got 430 horsepower.
It's nice that you kept the body just completely stock as far as I can
Yes, I mean,
tell.
this to me, the front bumper is to me the crown jewel of the car because it was my favorite part.
Yeah, they really, I feel like these cars get overlooked a little with like the Camaro, early Camaros and things like that, but this is really arguably kind of a cooler, sleeker design. It kind of takes the front end of the GTO but puts in a more compact package.
Yeah, which I love the GTO. I'm a Pontiac girl, so.
The parts for the first gen Camaros are essentially the same, so you can get with a Firebird, get a little bit slightly different look, and still open up that catalog like you mentioned at year one and get all this stuff. I dig the billet hood hinges too.
Yes. So you got the Willwood, you got the Bear brakes, and the Willwood Master in reservoir.
Yeah, the interior I kept it pretty stock too. I just didn't want to mess with anything.
It looks like the
fancy.
bolsters are built up a little bit. I mean, it looks a little built up.
Just a teeny bit. I mean, I have the center button. I had it customized. I just love that Firebird. Ready?
Yeah.
Sounds great. And God bless Pontiac, by the way, for doing very nice side markers, which I don't see in the front.
You know what? I took out the Firebird. I just wanted the Firebird.
But I will say this,
itself.
like when you look at the Ferraris and a ton of cars, they just have a big square cut out and a big inset rectangle shoved in there. The idea that they would make it the Pontiac emblem or shape or whatever, just dress it up a little and give it a little something other than just a big square marker on the side. You know, you take a look at a lot of modern day cars, including Aston Martin and stuff like that, and they just have big squares on the side. And a lot of it is a DOT, bring it over here kind of thing from Europe. But
it seems like those square ones just come out of a parts bin someplace for any other car. Just like any auto parts store would have them. They stick them on the Ferraris when they get here. So when you do your racing, you don't get to race much against these cars. right? This is a different class when you put up your Newman cars against the muscle cars, right? When we talk about race, because these cars are badass in race trim as well. We've seen them up at Monterey a number of times.
I think there's a handful of these guys racing in Trans Am.
Yeah.
Even though this is not as typical as the Mustangs or even some of the Camaros, but it's sort of up there with the AMC stuff. Like there's a couple of Dodge Challengers in there, there's some AMC stuff in there. There's always a Firebird or two in there. They're great in race trim. I don't know why I think
But there's
what
some
was
of the
Smokey
big.
Unique's car? Was that Camaro?
That's the Camaro. That's the gold and black.
I feel like
Camaro.
there's some sort of I don't know why, but I feel like there's some sort of Edelbrock Firebird.
He's running
something's in there.
the Smokey Unit car.
Yeah, but I feel like there's something in a blue, something in a black and a gold. Anyway, I'm all over the road. Pardon the pun. The racing pun, but yeah, these cars. There's always a couple of them in race trim, and they don't usually win the race. But they're so much more interesting to see in race trim than just seeing another fastback Mustang Mach 1 or whatever.
All right,
in
well,
there.
speaking of race cars, AJ's going to help me out with this real quick.
Okay.
I've got something for you for your race car. I'm going to grab it. Jeff's going to
Wow.
follow me real quick.
Surprise.
And
Matt's got a surprise.
I don't know how
I
you're going to get
figured
this
it
in
out.
one of your
Really did.
vintage classes, but this is a full carbon fiber drive shaft for the big Paul Newman car that you're currently
Wow.
restoring. This is from the drive shaft shop, and feel how light that is.
Wow. Yeah, I was.
This is about as geeky as you get on a gift, by the way. This is when you give a dude a drive shaft made of carbon fiber.
Yeah, there's also a certain sexual innuendo that's implied.
It is.
As
That's
well.
why I'm going to
But,
here. You guys can work this out.
No, I was. We're rebuilding one of the Paul Newman GT1 cars from 1985 or 84. Either way, I was on one of my flights reading one of my car magazines, and they were like, "Carbon fiber drive shaft.
Yeah.
Do you make the move?" I had to be the only one on the flight
Reading about carbon drive shaft.
And
Carbon
they
fiber
said,
shafts.
well, obviously it's lighter, so it's better. But they also said it's a lot safer because if it breaks loose,
And
you don't have that mass.
It absorbs
swinging
so much
around.
more vibration when you get in the race cars, especially compared to the street cars. You know?
Right.
So let's hope it fits.
We should give a little love to somebody for this.
Yeah,
other
from
than
the drive shaft shop, those guys hooked us up with that. They did such a great job, and this is all a custom-made piece. We took the components from the car, had these restored, and then adapted them to this custom-made drive shaft.
Wow.
Perfectly balanced, high
I
speed.
feel like Miss America.
Right? Yeah, you just
Bird
won the
Park
carbon
should
fiber
come
drive
out,
shaft.
yeah.
It's interesting how it's all sort of spun together, not really like
Wow.
the typical weave that you see in the carbon fiber pattern.
God, does this thing have to be strong? Because it's going to be, 600 plus horsepower just
Yeah.
trying to tear this thing in half for an entire race, going up and going down.
Occasionally you hit a Royal Purple sign, whatever. Occasionally.
They shouldn't put them out on the track. It's a runoff area. All right.
Well, we're gonna get working on this car now.
I'm
And,
very
get that
excited
ready.
about this. All right, AJ, where do we find you once again online? And the show is going to be the 4th of November.
Yeah.
Overhaul's
Overhaul
coming
and
back.
Back on
Velocity, 9
Velocity.
o'clock. And starting off with not just another Chevy, but a pretty cool
Yeah,
car.
65 Sunbeam to kick off the season. Twitter at Adrienne Janic and Facebook Adrienne AJ Janic, and that's it for me.
Thanks, AJ, and thanks
Yeah.
for coming by, and thanks for bringing your Firebird. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for AJ and Matt D'Andrea saying, keep the air in the spare and the bag in the wheel.